The fully vaccinated will need a fourth dose later this year, and new variant dubbed Cron detected in Europe. Who put this story?
I did.
You did. So you felt you were lacking a little COVID talk?
Just want to bring it up.
I'm curious. I'm curious your incentive. Like
I was.
did you? Because
you're right.
No, because here's the thing. We're obviously at this critical point right now here, where a lot of people are sort of getting back to just no COVID life, or closer to it, depending where you go and who you're interacting with. But certainly it's
still lingers.
It lingers, but it leveled off. It leveled off, right? But what I wonder is if, because there's a lull right now, if people kind of feel the need to investigate, because it's like, wait, are we actually done with it? There's like a disbelief there. Are we actually done with it? And then you get the article like this, or then you get the terminology like, oh, it's endemic. It's just a thing that we have now. And you can't help the curiosity. Certainly, when you start to examine new variants and things like this, and then they keep talking about dose after dose, I don't know what the actual opinion is of the general public when it comes to this variety of dosages and where they draw the line, how many doses they're willing to get. But just anecdotally talking to people, that's all this is. That's all I'm about to say. A lot of people I talk to in regular life who end up just getting COVID as well after everything, after shots and boosters and such, they seem to explain to me that they're not getting any more shots. What was that?
I said,
So are you saying that you've had the same experience?
yeah.
That people,
Not me personally, but I've heard the same argument, which is, or point to be made, which is, yeah, I'm not going to get the other one. If there's nothing stopping me from living my life, then I'm not going to get it. I think it changes if your government says that you have to, but
it's one of these weird ones where like the terminology has become problematic, but relating to vaccines. Our interpretation prior, whether it's right or wrong, the technical definition of a vaccine, but like I have babies, they get vaccines. They're not supposed to get the thing, even though with this particular vaccine, you're going to get potentially less deadly or debilitating version of the disease as a consequence. There seems to be some sort of gap in the general public's understanding of the effectiveness of a vaccine and whether or not they can actually, like when a lot of people got sick, they felt that they had been duped in one way or another. Even though they may have been sicker had they not had the thing, it's just terminology. It's like if you call it this word, then that's what's going to, it's not a treatment or it's not a preventative measure.
It's a fix.
It sounds like it.
Yeah.
And by the way, I'm sure there's some definition that allows these things to exist like this, but I'm talking about the general public. I'm talking about the regular world and the way in which humans operate. So it was a real problem when everybody, and I know the latest variant was definitely not like the first variant. So, and there's all these variety of factors trying to delay and hospitalizations and on and on. But I do hear people, I hear both sides. I hear some people saying, well, whatever happens, I'm done with it. And then I hear other people saying, prepare for the spring.
Prepare for the spring. Is that less people or?
That's like a threat. That's like a threat of more Crons.
But do you hear that
spike.
less or more?
More Crons. No, less. I think people also have a threshold of concern that there is almost like Google Trends, where you would see peaks and valleys and you would see things waver, and it's human enthusiasm that you're mapping. Like how many people are still looking at it? How many people have moved on? What is the effect of what's happening in Ukraine from a volume perspective on people's interest or willingness And then regional. So, like, what is the current state in a particular place? How are people being affected on a personal level in a particular place at a given time? Because obviously the situation is different in China right now than it is here. So, but anyway, now that I've spoke a little bit about this headline and why I think you chose it, maybe you can go ahead and tell us what your thought process was.
I think you were pretty correct in the sense that you kind of just want some knowledge, like globally, of what's happening and how other people are feeling. So I decided to just choose this just based on curiosity. Why? That's it.
All right,
And
beautiful.
I don't read a lot of Corona news,
No,
at all.
It's definitely.
but it
Well,
just
I
so
hear a
happens
lot less
that
of
I mean,
it.
yeah, no, it's the thing.
Kinda
It's
comes
not. It's
up here
not in
and
the
there.
feed, and it begs the question: if you want to go like really zoom out, if the world is only capable of one obsessive news item at a time,
Yeah.
and if you're like me and you're obsessed with trends and data and so forth, it really does seem, as far as mainstream news is concerned, and then subsequently less mainstream news. Yeah, it seems hard for there to be a split focus. It's like every story has to be derivative of the current topic of conversation. And it's not just on the internet. That's another example I have in my personal life of what people are currently talking about or asking about.
Yeah, and I know every conversation that I've been having, it's always a COVID conversation, at least one.
Yeah, but hasn't it moved to Ukraine recently? Or no, you don't have a big...
Both,
Okay.
both.
So you're still...
We always have to hit that check mark.
You feel like
of
they're both... Are they equivalent? Has one superseded the other? Because in my external, non-internet social life, people seem much more... And for whatever reason, this is not a judgment of what people are talking about. Humans are trying their best to navigate a complicated world. But definitely in my case, it's shifted over to Ukraine war, conflict,
Right.
sanctions, gas prices, inflation, investments, etc.
Yeah. Yeah. Same. Yeah, I've noticed the same change in my life.
So
Yeah.
I don't know what the next one is.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we get through this one too very quickly.
The fourth one.
The latest Cron.
Yeah.